Yeah, hi, good morning, guys. My screen is visible for everyone. Is it visible for everyone? Visible or not visible? Online people, online guys, my screen is visible. Online guys. Okay, we'll start a session. I will open Notepad. I will open on my slide. So today we'll discuss a very easy concept, that is the looping statements. It is very easy concepts actually. We'll discuss about the looping concepts. So before going to start today's session, quickly revise what we discussed in the last session. So last session we discussed about the conditional statements. Is it? Last session we discussed about the conditional statements. What does it mean by conditional statements? Hmm? Uh, Based on the condition to make the decisions. Based on the condition to make the decisions. So in the conditional statements, we have the multiple types. First one is the simple if statement. First one is the simple if. Second one is the if else. And third one is the if else if. Fourth one is the nested if. And fifth one is the uh, switch case. Switch case. So these are the I would say different statements we have in the Java. Simple if meaning only true concern. Only true concern. Whenever the condition is true, then you should go for the simple if. If else meaning true concern and false concern also. Whenever the true and false concern will be there, in the time you should go for the if else statement. And if else it means multiple conditions. Whenever you have the multiple conditions, then you should go for the if else if. Like have taken the marks validation example, and the person like scored the 85 marks, and we have written the code like the person in between 80 to 100, you should display the message is the distinction. You should display the message is the distinction, and the person is in between distinction. The person in between around 35 to 80, the person should be in the first class. 0 to 35, 0 to 35 study well. So based on this scenario, we written the one program yesterday. Whenever we have the multiple conditions, then you should go for the if else if. What about nested if? Nested if meaning one if inside another if. One if inside the another if. So there we seen the one example. Like simply take a one if, and inside the another if we will take and write in the example we written. After that, switch case. Switch case. Switch case used to comparison comparison between the two characters. In this scenario, like in the interview perspective, they will ask, the question is What is the difference between if else if and switch case? What is the difference between if else if and switch case? Anyone have any idea? What is the difference between if else if and switch case? If else if and switch case. Hmm? Ah, basically both are used to like multiple conditions only. If the conditions is less than only limited conditions will be there, then we will go for the if else if. When the conditions have multiple conditions, like more than 10 at the time, you should go for the switch case. Switch case. If else if for the only multiple limited conditions. We can use the if else if for the limited conditions. Switch case is for the whenever unlimited conditions. If you have the multiple conditions, then you should use the switch case and you can comparison the characters. Comparison the characters. So in the interview perspective, they will ask the question, the difference between the if else if and switch case. If else if and switch case. So these are the concepts we discussed in the last session. Anyone have any questions? This one? Okay, fine. So today let's start a session with the looping statement. This is the very easy concepts actually. So we'll see one by one. Normally, the first point you should remember, what does it mean by looping statement? Looping statement. Looping statements is used to execute the statements repeatedly. Execute the statements repeatedly. Normally, like how will you write the program? Three rules you should follow. First rule is the like class name, and I will write the definition. It is used to execute the statements repeatedly. Execute the statements repeatedly. In the looping statement, normally, like if you take the class, if the class name is the demo, and if you take normal, this is the main method. From here to here, this is the scope of the main method. Now, you can assume this is the one statement. Normally, if you compile this file, if you run this file, only it will execute only one time. If you want to execute the same statement multiple times, so in the time you should go for the looping statement. In the looping statements, we have the multiple categories. Like we'll see one by one. The first one is the while. First one is the while loop. First one we will discuss about the while loop. Second one is the do while. Third one is the for loop. Fourth one is the for each loop. For each. Under the for, we will have the nested for also. Nested for also. So these are the like concepts we will discuss today, and this is concept is very easy. So we'll go through it one by one. Hmm? Yeah. You guys understood like does what does it mean by looping statements? Looping statements. Looping statements. It is used to execute the statements repeatedly. Repeatedly. Normally, like this is the class name, and if you write the one statement, normally if you compile the file and if you execute the file, it will execute only one time. But if you want to execute the same statement multiple times, then we have the concept that is the looping statements. In the looping statements, we have multiple types. While statement, do while, for looping statements, and for each loop. For each loop. In the for each loop, we will discuss for each loop in the arrays concepts, arrays and collections concepts. Arrays and collection concept we will discuss about the for each loop. Arrays. So the next session will be on the arrays and strings, arrays and collection. Arrays and collections. So for each loop we will use in the arrays concept and collections concept. So we'll discuss about the while, do while, and for and nested for. Okay. So start with the while. Like while loop also used to execute the statements until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Normally looping statement meaning it is execute the statements repeatedly. It is execute the statements repeatedly. If you go for the while loop, it will execute the statements until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Uh, I will write the definition. It is used to execute the statement, execute the statements until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. For example, like I will give the question is to print the numbers from 1 to with the help of while loop. Write a Java program to print 1 to 10 numbers, 1 to 10 numbers using while loop. Using while loop. So this is the question normally the people will ask. If you want to print the like the numbers from 1 to 10, like we'll see what is the syntax for the while loop. So I will write the syntax for the while loop. Syntax for the while loop is while, here you should take the condition. Condition from here to here, this is the scope of the while loop. This is the scope of the while loop. Whenever the condition, it will execute until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. If the condition is false, then while block won't execute. The controller got terminated. The controller got terminated. For example, I will write, for example, the same, if I want to write the program for this one, I will take here, first I will initialize the variable int I equal to, like I will initialize 1 or something, and while I will mention here, mention the condition I less than or equal to 10. Here I will mention the sysop statement, SOP, and I, here I will use the increment. What does it mean by increment? So last session we discussed about the increment. What does it mean by increment? Hmm? First it will be print and it will become 1. It will increase by 1. First it will be print, it will print and it become 1. The same concept, the same concept. So should keep in point, or should remember, and it become 1. it become increase 1. It become increase 1. This is the syntax for the while loop. While loop, it is used to execute the statements until the condition is true. That is the first point you should keep in mind. The second point is the syntax. While loop syntax is the while and condition from here to here. This is the scope of the while loop. Scope of the while loop. So this is the normal way to write the while loop. Like the people will ask the question, write the Java program to print the numbers from 1 to 10 using while loop. Using while loop. So I will write the program and then show you like how it will be going on. So I will take the file, new file. The file name I will mention like while demo.java. Okay. First I am initializing a variable int I equal to with 1, and here I will take the while I less than or equal to, I will take the 5, and here I will mention. So if you observe from here to here, this is the scope of the while. Now simply I will take the system.out.println, and here I will mention the I. If I mention the I, okay, instead of I will take the 10 value. 10 value. So if you guys tell me, if I save the file, if I compile the file, if I run the file, what will be the result? What will be the result? Hmm? Hmm? It will print 1 to 10, 1 to 9. What will be the result? Hmm? It will print only 1. Okay, we'll check with that one. Okay, I will go here, and wherever the Java files is there, go there and open the command prompt. And go open the command prompt, and okay, Java C, and the class name while demo.java. Okay, the file has successfully compiled. I need to run the file while demo. So if you observe here, what it is printing? It is printing 1. So is there any stop point for this one? So if I open the laptop tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it will until executing. If I open the laptop after 1 year, 1 year, if I after the laptop after 1 year also, it will executing. It will executing. So like the only thing is, if the laptop have the charging, then it will continuously executing. Why it is continuously executing? Why it is continuously executing? Until the condition is satisfied, it is continuously executing. It is continuously executing. Now I need to mention the increment. I need to mention the increment. I plus plus. What does it mean by increment? What it will do? What it will do basically? Increment meaning? Hmm? First it will print and then it will be increased by the 1. It will increase the by 1, and whenever it is satisfied with the like condition, then it will go to here and it will print the sysout statement. It will print the sysout statement. Okay, I will save the file and open the command prompt. Already command prompt already there. Okay, assembly and Java C while demo dot Java dot C, yeah, Java C while demo dot Java. Okay, Java while demo. So now the output is 1 to 10 because condition condition thus the first step is we are initializing a I variable with the 1 and we are giving the some condition. Here what will happen, we are increasing like I plus plus meaning like the condition whenever it will increase, the first it will print and then it will be increased by 2. Initial value is 2, initial value is 1. Whenever you are mentioning the I plus plus, then it will 1 is converted into 2. The 2 will check the condition. 2 is less than or equal to 20, 10 or not. Yes, it is, the condition is satisfied. Then the controller will goes to inside the block and again we have the increment. Then what will happen? 2 is converted into 3. Then 3 is less than or equal to 10 or not. Yes, the condition is true. Then the controller will again goes to inside the block. Then 3 is converted into 4. 4 is less than or equal to 10 or not. Yes. So that's why the again controller will goes to down and the 4 will convert it into 5. Again 5 will checks the condition is satisfied or not. The condition is satisfied. Again the control will goes to down and 5 is converted into 6 and again checks the condition. 6 is converted into 7. Again checks the condition. 7 is converted into 8. Again checks the condition. 8 is converted into 9. Again check the condition. 9 is converted to 10. Again check the condition. 10 is increased to 11. Again check the condition. Condition is true or false. Whenever the condition is false, then terminal got terminated. So that's why you are printing the values from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Got the clarity about the while loop? Anyone has any confusion? While loop. While loop, normally looping statements are used to execute the statements only. While loop for executing the statements until the condition is true. Only the difference, that is the thing. Got, got it? Everyone, anyone have any questions? While loop. Very easy concept. Normally, like normal programs, with the help of normal programs, you can execute only one time. If you want to execute the same statement multiple times, you have the concept looping statement. You can achieve with that. There we have the while loop. While loop is used to execute the statements until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Got it? About the only 2 points. First point is the definition for the looping statements, and the definition for the while loop. The definition for the while loop. Okay. After that, we have the do while. We'll discuss about the do while. Do while is also used to execute the statements repeatedly. But what is the difference between the while and do while? We'll see. This is the do, and this is the syntax for the do while. Here we have the set of instructions, and we have the while. Here we have the condition. For example, if I less than or equal to 10, anything you can take here. Anything you can take here. So normally this is the syntax for the do while. meaning it will, before the checking condition, it will execute at least one time, at least and one time. But in case of while loop, it is not like that. Whenever the whenever the condition is true, then only it will execute. If the condition is false, you are giving the condition is false. If the condition is false, for example, like in this program, you can observe this condition is true. When the condition is true, the block is executed. Here I am giving the false statement, like instead of less than, I giving the like greater than, meaning I is greater than to 10, meaning 1 is greater than 2. That is false condition. So if I save the file, if I execute the file, so you can observe the result, Java C, and so see, nothing is printed. Why? Because while meaning the statements will be print when the condition is true. The statement will be printed when the condition is true. If the statement is false, the controller got terminated. Nothing is printed. Nothing is printed. But do while is, it will be printed at least one time. If the condition is true, false, that is no, I would say not consider. It will print at least one time. It will print at least one time. So this is the, from here to here, this is the scope of do, and here we will give the condition. Whenever the condition, before the checking the condition, it will print at least one time. It will print at least one time. I will write the program. I can get the clarity. Open this one, and command prompt, not command prompt. I will take the file here and write the program. New do while dot Java. String. So here I am initializing variable a with 1, and I am taking the condition. I am taking do block. So from here to here, I am simply taking one statement, that is the sysout statement. Taking the sysout statement, system dot out dot println. Println, here I will mention the a, okay, and here I will take the condition, that is the while condition. I will take the while, and here I will mention the condition is a is less than or equal to 10. A is less than or equal to 10. So if I save the file, if I execute the file, then what will be the result? What will be the result? So in this case, they will ask the question, write the Java program to print the numbers 1 to 10 with the help of do while loop. The same question we can write with the help of do while. Write Java program to print 1 to 10 with the help of using do while. Do while. So this is the question they will ask. So for that question, so if I save the file, if I execute the file, then what will be the result? Hmm? Hmm? A is the variable. I am holding the value with 1. So do, hmm? Hmm? Only it will print the ones. Only it will print the ones. Okay, we'll check what it will print. I will open the command prompt and compile the file java c. The file name do while dot java. The file has successfully compiled, and java do while, so it is executing until. So we should mention the increment operator. Should mention the increment operator. Okay, I will mention the increment operator. Control S, and I am going here. CMD and java c do while dot java. We are doing some mistake somewhere. A plus plus. Go here and compile the file java and do while. Okay, so if you observe, the values are printing from 1 to 10. Okay, if now here I will give the false statement. I will give the false statement, like I would say, instead of less than, I will give the statement greater than. Now what will be the result? Hmm? What will be the result? So before checking the condition, it will print at least one time. It will print at least one time. After printing one time, it will check the condition. If the condition is okay, then it will continuously printing until the condition is satisfied. Until the condition is satisfied. Got the difference between the while loop and do while loop? Got the difference? You Asif, you got it? You got it, man. The difference between while and do while is, only the thing is, while loop will execute. First it will check the condition and it will execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is true. Do while is for, it will execute first and then checks the condition and check the condition. Got the clarity? Now we'll go for the for loop. For loop. So for loop also very easy. I will show you. Now what does it mean by for loop? When will you go for the for loop? When will you go for the for loop? Same question. Write a Java program to print the 1 to 10 numbers with the help of for loop. For loop. What does it mean by the for loop? What is the syntax for the for loop? Normally, the syntax for the for loop is, till now, if you observe the like while and do while loop, if you observe the while loop, what does it mean? We are initializing a variable, is it? So we are initializing the variable in one line. Okay, after that, what we are doing? This is the condition. Condition we are took in another line, and this is the increment. This increment is we are took in another line. So three lines we are using. Initial line is for the initialization, and second line is for the condition, and somewhere in the program we are taking the increment and decrement. For in the for loop, we will take all in only single line. All in only single line. Got it? First thing, we should take the initialization, and you should take the condition, and you should take the increment or decrement. In the for loop, you should take all in single line only, increment or decrement. So from here to here, this is the scope of the block. Like here, you should take the SOP, and then you can mention some whatever the statement you want to execute. Then you can mention here. Is it easy or hard? For loop, While loop, you should take different lines. But in the for loop, you can all statement you should take in within only one line. Now you guys can tell me, like, write a Java program to print 1 to 10 numbers with the help of for loop. You guys tell me, I will write the program. For what should I take here? I equal to hmm? I equal to 1. Uh, this is the initialization. Okay. Uh, I less than or equal to 10, and then I plus plus increment or decrement. Okay. From here to here, this is the scope of the for loop. Here you should write the SOP. There you can mention whatever the statement you want. You can mention here. I am mentioning high. Then if I execute the file, then what will be the result? Hmm? We can able to print the 1 to 10. We can able to print 1 to 10. Got it about the for loop? I will write the program and execute the program and show you. I open the Java, and here I will take a new file, new for demo.java. Okay. For loop, from here to here, this is the scope of the for loop. Scope of the for loop. Here to here, this is the scope of the for loop. Now the first statement is the initialization. Int I equal to 1. After the next one, condition. Int less than or equal to 10. And third one, increment or decrement. So successfully I have taken only all the conditions in the all the statements in the one line only. Okay. Now I will write the system dot out dot println. Okay. Here I will mention the I. Okay. Command prompt, and Java C for demo.java. The file has successfully compiled for demo. Okay. Okay. So numbers is, then you might get the question, like, with the help of while loop also you are printing the numbers from 1 to 10. With the help of for loop also you are printing the values from 1 to 10. Then what is the difference between the while loop and for loop? When will you go for the while loop, and when will you go for the for loop? What is the difference between the while loop and for loop? The same question we are writing with the help of while loop, the same question we are writing with the help of for loop also. Then what is the difference between the while loop and for loop? When will you go for the while loop and when will you go for the for loop? Anyone have any idea? For loop. Hmm? For loop? That is the nested for loop. That is the nested for loop. While also to check the only one condition only. Uh, nested for loop is the different one. I am asking what is the difference between the while. Exactly. Range. The difference is the range. For example, I will tell you like we have the I would say Martali. So I am telling Asif, can you please go to Martali and come to return here 10 times. If I tell the program like this, I am telling here range. You should do the going and coming 10 times. If I tell the execution in the based on the range, in that time you should go for the for loop. For meaning range. But while loop is, it is used to until the condition is true, it will be execute. For is used to execute the range. For loop is the range based loop. Range based loop. I am telling you should do the program 10 times. You should do the program 20 times. If I tell the number, if I tell the range, in that time you should go for the for loop. Got it? Got the clarity? For is the range based loop. While is the condition based loop. For is the range based loop. While is the condition based loop. The difference is while is the condition based loop. For is the range based loop. For is the range based loop. Got the clarity? The difference between the for and while. Got the clarity or not got it? Got the clarity. Anyone have any queries? For loop. So after that, we have the nested for loop. So nested for loop also very easy. Let's see. Nested for loop means once one if present inside the another if. I will take nested if meaning one if present inside the another if. Okay. This is the one for loop. This is the like there we can take all the initialization, condition, updation. All three you can take here. From here to here, this is the scope for the for loop. And this is the outer if. This is the outer if. Outer if. And what about inner if? Inside the for loop, we will take the one more for loop. Within the single line, here we will take the initialization, condition, updation. From here to here, this is the scope of for loop. This is the inner for. This is the inner loop. This is the inner loop. Inner loop. Normal guys, simply like this is the program for a for loop now. The same program we are writing inside the for loop. The same program you will write the inside now. So that is the nested if. Same program, same syntax. You can write two times. You can write two times. You can write two times. So I will write, like I will tell the like to print the some patterns. So nested if is used to print the some patterns, like the patterns. If I say like this, some patterns will be there. So I want to print this pattern right now. So how will you print this pattern? This is the pattern. Now I want to print this pattern. For loop is nothing but two loops. One loop is present inside the another loop. Another loop. Syntax is like same the for loop only. We will take two loops. One loop is inside the loop. Another loop is the outside. The same syntax. Like whatever we have written the thing here, the same thing we will write here. The same thing we will write here. So now the my question is, like nested if is used to print the patterns. Some patterns will be there. If you want to print the patterns, you should go for the for loop. Now my question is, I want to print this kind of pattern. Then I will simply go to here and I will write the program. Nested if demo.java. I am opening the file. Nested if already, I hope already there. So I will create one more file. Nested if test.java. Okay, I will open this file. The class name public class test, and this is the scope of. I will take the main method public static void main, and the strings I will write first one. I will take the for loop, and this is the scope of the for loop. This is the scope of the for loop. This is the outer for loop. I will mention like this, and inside the for loop I will take the one more for loop, and from here to here this is scope of the inner for loop. This is the scope of the inner for loop. You got the syntax. Only the thing is I did is two loops I have taken, nothing greater than here. Two loops I have taken. This is the outer loop, outer for loop, and this is the inner for loop. This is the inner for loop. Got the syntax? Anyone is confusing here? Here I will write the condition like int I equal to 1 and I less than or equal to 5. I less than or equal to 5. Okay, I will mention the increment operator. So same thing, I will mention int j equal to 1 and j less than or equal to. If I mention the 5, what will be the what it will print? We'll see the two scenarios. We'll see, then you will get the clarity. The same statement I will write the 5 and semicolon j plus plus, j plus plus, and here I will write the sysout statement. System dot out dot print. Here I will mention the star. Here I will mention the star. Okay. Here I will mention system dot out dot println. Out dot println. Now if I compile the file, if I run the file, what will be the result? Hmm? Every line has 5 stars. Okay. So we'll check, open command prompt and Java C name nested if test dot Java. We forgot the syntax. System dot out dot println. Save the file. Go there and nested if test dot Java. The file public class, yeah, class name should be, file name and class name should be the same. Tested if nested if test, file name should be the like this. Okay, go here and JavaScript. The file has successfully compiled and Java nested if test. So printing 5 stars, 5 lines, 5 lines, 5 lines. But my requirement is like this. First I want to print 1 star and then I want to print 2 stars. Third line I want to print the 3 lines and fourth line I want to print the 4 lines and fifth line I want to print the 5 lines. Then what should I do? Where did I change in the code? Where did I change? Huh? You can take the I. You can take the I. Here you should keep in mind one point, that is the every execution of outer block, inner block will be executed 5 times. I will write that one. That is a very important point. In case of nested if, you should remember this point. Then you can get the clarity while writing the program. Every execution of outer if, outer for loop, five times inner for loop will execute it. Will execute. Got the clarity? I will tell you. Like if the outer for this is the for loop. If the one time outer for will execute, controller will goes to the inside and it will execute inside the for loop 5 times. Why? Because we are mentioning the condition less than or equal to 5. Until the condition is satisfied, it will execute the inner loop. Whenever the condition is satisfied, then the controller will goes to the outer block and the condition is less than or equal to, it will check the condition. The condition might be less than and again it will goes to the, so every execution of outer for loop, inner for loop will execute 5 times. Why 5 times? I am taking the condition 5. If I take the 10 times, so every execution of outer for loop, inner loop will execute 10 times. You got the clarity? In the nested for loop, should remember only this point. If you remember this point, you can get the clarity while doing the program. Only the point is, you should remember this point. Every execution of outer loop, outer for loop, 5 times inner for loop will execute. If I take the condition 10, For execution of every outer for loop, 10 times inner loop will execute it. 10 times inner loop will execute. Only the thing is, we should remember this one. So this is the programs is we need to understand the pulse. Pulse meaning what is the difference between the while loop and what is the difference between the do while loop. What are the changes we are doing from while to do while, and what we are did in the for loop, and what we are doing in the nested if. What we are doing in the nested if. We need to understand the pulse. In case of nested if, we should remember only this point. Every execution of outer loop, 5 times inner loop will execute it. If I take the condition 10, 10 times inner loop will execute it. Inner loop will execute it. Got the clarity? So now if I want that pattern, here I will instead of I will take the I condition. Then what it will do? If I take the 5, it will execute until the 5. If I take the I, it will execute until the condition is satisfied. Until the condition is satisfied. Now save the file. I'm going here. I'm going here. Compile the file and execute the file. Run the file. So if you observe, you get the pattern. You get the pattern. So we need to understand the logic. This is the normal for loop. We are creating the connection in between. Only the thing is we are passing that variable to here. Whenever you are passing that variable to here, then you will get the this pattern. You will get this pattern. You got the clarity like while loop, do while loop, for loop, nested for loop, nested for loop. Got the clarity? Anyone have any question? Any questions from anyone? Looping statements is very easy. Normally, we are executing the program. If you are executing the program, the statement will print only one time. If you want to print the statement multiple times, we have the looping concept. We can achieve the statements multiple times with the help of the looping statements. There we will have the while loop, do while loop, for loop, nested for loop. So while loop we will take initialization in one line, condition in one line, increment in one line. Different lines where we will take. In the do while, first the statement will be execute the first and it will check the condition. For loop, we will take all in only one line. Initialization, condition, increment or decrement. We will take only one line. Nested if meaning for loop inside another for loop. For loop under for loop. For under for loop. So we will take the two for loops and then normally for nested for loops are used to print the patterns. To print the patterns. To print the patterns, we will use the nested for loop. In the nested for loop, we should remember the point is every execution of outer for loop 5 times inner for loop will execute. That statement you should remember. You should remember only these points. You should remember what does it mean by the for loop statement meaning, and while loop meaning, do while loop meaning, for loop meaning, and if you understand the meaning, you can easily write the program. You can easily write the program. You can easily write the program. Any questions from anyone? Looping statements. Looping statements. Okay, I will start.